Hey guys, Miana here. A question that we hear a lot is whether carbs are good for you, bad for you. Should you eat them? Should you not eat them? When should you eat them? But a lot of people don't even know what carbs are and how our body uses them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's master the basics. Carbohydrates are molecules that are comprised of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, usually arranged to form a 6-carbon chain. They're the primary source of energy for all living organisms and are important for energy, metabolism, and just overall health. There are 4 different groups of carbohydrates: monosaccharides, disaccharides, glycosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharide is comprised of 1 carbohydrate unit, a disaccharide is comprised of 2 carbohydrate units, and polysaccharides are comprised of many carbohydrate units. Polysaccharides comprising of many units also go by the name complex carbohydrates. They're a little bit more difficult for the gut to fully break them down for them to be absorbed, and therefore might make you feel a little bit fuller for longer. Disaccharides, sucrose, maltose, and lactose are comprised of 2 units, but still need to be broken down to 1 unit before they can be fully digested and used in the body. Monosaccharides, glucose, fructose, and galactose are single carbohydrate units comprised of 6 carbon atoms. This is as far as the digestive system will break down carbohydrates, so when you ingest them, they're going to be really quickly and easily used as energy or fuel for your body. Glucose is the most important monosaccharide. It's what we know of as blood sugar. Fructose is the sugar we find in fruit, and galactose is the broken down form of lactose. Galactose does need to be made into glucose 1-phosphate before it can be metabolized by the body. The main goal of carbohydrate metabolism is to create energy for the body. That unit of energy is called ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. The first step of carbohydrate metabolism is called glycolysis, the lysis or breakdown of 1 glucose molecule into 2 pyruvate molecules. For every 1 glucose molecule that goes into glycolysis, there's a net gain of 2 ATP. If there is no oxygen around during glycolysis, the pyruvate will be then converted into lactate and sent off to the liver. This happens during high-intensity exercises where the body just isn't able to circulate enough oxygen into the muscle cells. If oxygen is present during glycolysis, the pyruvate is then sent on to the Krebs cycle, where a whole bunch of processes happen and NADH and FADH2 are produced. Those are then sent on to the electron transport chain, where they're then used to create more molecules of ATP. The full breakdown of 1 molecule of glucose will yield somewhere between 30 to 38 ATP, depending on what you take into consideration. And the average human will turn over their own body weight in ATP every single day. While other energy sources like proteins and fats can be used to create ATP, carbohydrates are going to be the preferential source for high-intensity exercises or for what we're doing in the gym. Because of that is why it's so important to tailor your carbohydrate intake to your activity level. You can perform on a low-carb diet, but from our experience and from what the literature says, we wouldn't say it's optimal.